All right. So we're talking today with Kim Henderson, Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetist. And we're just going to open it right up. We're just going to start right out the gate. We have already been having just a wonderful time just chit-chatting about life and what it takes, her nursing journey, and also her roles and some of the things that she's going to share with us today. So Kim, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Go ahead and just tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about your nursing journey, if you would.
Well, my name is Kim, and I'm from Mississippi. My mom's a nurse, and I think that when I was young, I always appreciated that she was a nurse, and she worked at a center for kids of all different levels of mental handicap. So sometimes I was afraid, and I saw how she took care of everyone just the same. And I think subconsciously those were my initial cues that, you know what, I like that. I want to be able to do that sort of as selflessly as she did. And so when I got older, my plan was, I was going to be a nurse. My major was going to be nursing when I graduated high school, and I was going to minor in theater because I had been performing since I was little. Church plays, the long poems, that was me. So then when I graduated, I was going to be at Ole Miss, and I had scuba diving at 10 o'clock. I was in the band. I played trombone, and my major was going to be nursing, theater. Well, then I kind of got the opportunity it really changed my life, to go to this small private liberal arts college in Michigan called �KZZ College. And they didn't have a nursing program. And I knew that, but what they did have was one of the top study abroad programs in the country. And what they did have was away from home and in Michigan and away from Mississippi, away from my parents. And for me, what that meant that they had was just the ability to go somewhere and not be at home. They didn't have a band, and that was important to me. Well, they had a small band, but not like Ole Miss's band, marching band of the South and formations and all these things. But I wanted that travel, and I wanted that study abroad, and I went there, and it was amazing. I studied abroad in West Africa for 6 months and ended up having a really good relationship with my host family, and took my daughter there when she was 3. We stayed a month. I mean, Kalamazoo College, it turned out great as far as the contribution it made to my life. So by them not having a nursing program, I majored in theater, and that was pretty exciting. So my first degree is actually in theater with focus in acting. And when I graduated from Kalamazoo College, I went home for a year, and I had my first theater job. I was in an improv troupe with my high school theater teacher, Mr. 𝐜𝐨𝐬𝐬.
Oh man!
And I wrote sketch comedy, and that's what we did. And I got paid $50 a month to do that.
Oh wow!
So
that's big time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun though. And so with that and my other 2 jobs, I thought, gosh, I want to move to New York, but I don't think I want to do the whole starting actress thing. So I decided that, do like the bar life or bar job type life, or waitressing, that sort of thing. So I decided, you know what, this is a good time to go ahead and go to nursing school. And at that time, there were only like 3 programs in the country, 3 accelerated programs, because I looked into going at home, and what was available to me in Mississippi was to spend 2 years getting my associate's degree of nursing, which it didn't make a lot of sense to me. I just couldn't wrap my head around going to school for 2 years and coming out with an associate's degree when I found these programs that were available, that you could go and get your nursing degree. If you had a bachelor's degree in any discipline, you could go and get your nursing degree in 13 months. So I said, okay, well, that's what I did. There was Johns Hopkins, there was Yale, I think, and somebody out on the West Coast. So I got accepted to Johns Hopkins and off I went. I graduated in at 13 months and I went to New York to be an actress by day and a nurse by night. And there's sort of my nursing career at that point sort of blossomed a lot. And eventually I learned about anesthesia, and where I had not learned it before. I learned that after graduation. I didn't hear about it while I was in school. And I moved home to have help with Emma. At that point, I had Emma, and focused on getting into anesthesia school. And then I got accepted, and I went to the University of Miami and became a CRNA.
Wow. So share a little bit about what made you get into CRNA, and why is becoming a CRNA? And again, for everyone that's not familiar, that's a Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetist. And tell me why that's such a desired specialty, and why so many people, tell us something that they don't really know about the path of really becoming one. They think it's a great specialty, but what are some things they don't know?
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, the biggest part for me is I knew I wanted an upper level degree. I wanted to get my master's. I wanted to maybe even go on and get my doctorate. And I knew I did not want to be a nurse practitioner. I was pretty sure that just wasn't the realm I was looking for, as far as maybe office-based work, or, people coming in and diagnosing their problems in that direct sort of way. And when I heard about anesthesia, you have to have ICU experience before you go to anesthesia school. I had found that I liked ICU work. I liked the high acuity patients. I liked the thought process, just the figuring things out. Deduction, that's the word I'm looking for. You're deducing what's going on, you're taking action, and seeing what comes next after that, and sometimes very quickly. And so once I started hearing about anesthesia, I thought, well, that's it right there. I'm never going to have more than one patient unless there's something supremely catastrophic happening. And I'll definitely get to think and deduce and think methodically a lot, pretty close second to second all the time. I think something that people don't know about anesthesia is that nurses did it first, before it was even before doctors decided, I should say, maybe, if that's the right word, before they decided, well, let's make this a specialty. But nurses did the anesthesia, and CRNAs have been around for a long time. And even me, in the nursing world and in the educated world of nursing, I hadn't heard of a nurse anesthetist. So I can only imagine that somebody not in the medical field not having heard of a nurse anesthetist. And I think the Association of Nurse Anesthetists is doing a better job at making sure that people know who we are, know our training and how specialized it is, and our value in the healthcare workforce. And I think that people love it because it is challenging, and you are I can't think of the word for just it's very engaging. It's an excellent profession, and there's such variety in the types of cases that you're going to take care of. And anesthesia, you're doing the anesthesia, but you're also in the presence of what's going on there. There's a shark bite. Oh my God, let me do the anesthesia for that while I check out this shark bite.
Right.
Stuff like that. So,
and you get to meet so many people, don't you? When you have to interact with them. It's not that, people say, oh, you're the nurse that puts people to sleep, but there's so much more than that. When you go in and, you go in to meet a patient, and patients come in, they're scared or nervous and so forth. You get the opportunity to really, it's not about just, putting them to sleep either. The hardest part might be waking them up. And tell us a little bit about, just that behind the scenes stuff that's rewarding?
I think one thing I will say about sort of what is most rewarding about it for me is the look on Black people's faces when they see somebody Black coming to take care of them. They see, there are very few Black CRNAs, around 1%, I think. Don't quote me on that, but it's really low. Even in the city of Wichita, where I live, I'm the only Black female here, aside from Maggie Thompson, who is now retired. And she was the only Black CRNA here in Wichita, Kansas for years, her entire career. So when people see someone come, they see all the doctors, they see the surgeons, they see everyone coming to their bedside, and they see you come and you say, hey, I'm going to be doing your anesthesia and I'm going to be there with you the whole time. It makes them feel amazing. And it makes me feel amazing that they know that I'm going to be there with them. And I feel like they feel more comfort in that.
And why do you think that we have such a lack of minorities in this specialty? And what can you say about just some of the health disparities with race and healthcare in general, but also in your specialty?
Mm-hmm. I think with regards to, and a lot of this is based on my personal experience and personal with regard to my own, but also personal with regard to interactions with other Black CRNA students in my immediate person, but also online, there's support groups and that sort of thing. And I think that the first reason is that we don't have as many Black CRNAs is just the exposure. If people in general don't know about CRNAs, then that's one set of people. Then you have, Black people who, don't know either. And so just in the broad scheme of things, representation matters. And just being out there and showing people that this is a great profession. You make a decent salary. And if you have interest in it, it's a lot of fun. And as far as health disparities, what did you ask me about health disparities?
Well, I was just mentioning again, and this is such a time that we are really focusing in on disparities overall in health. But I'd just like to know, what do you think about just the disparities with race, period, in healthcare? Not just even CRNAs, but just period overall in nursing. And again, you're in the Wichita, Kansas area. But again, maybe just shed some light overall with regards to race in healthcare.
Gosh, that is a broad question. And one thing that I will say is it started to be more studied that there are certain lacks in healthcare for Black people. And whether you want to look into whether it's bias of those professionals who are taking care of those Black patients. I think if you look to history, you can see all kinds of clues as to why Black people may still be treated a certain type of way in healthcare, especially with regards to pain. I mean, you have the quote unquote father of obstetrics who did experiments on Black women. That speculum and those things that we use or that they use in gynecology, he tried all these instruments on these women. They have pain medicine, Black people were seen as less than. And I think those things play a role in how we are subsequently treated over the years and down the line. And then so when you get to things like, Black women don't feel pain, that old adage, or things like that, I think it comes from perhaps that type of mindset, and is being exposed more and more talked about, so that we can get ahead of that and out of it. And I think a big part of that is education, not just education of the people who perpetuate those sorts of ideas, but for our own knowledge. Don't let yourself be ignored. You have to, and even though we have to work harder at it, letting somebody know something's going on, and if you can't help me figure it out, then I need you to refer me to somebody who can. That sort of thing, and being our own advocate for things and equal treatment, equal testing, or what have you.
Right.
There are certain things that are known, like that infant mortality is high among African American women, even when they adjust for socioeconomic status. So it's not just, poor Black women. Okay, well, they're poor and Black and they have babies that die. It is not just that. So let's get the ball rolling. And they have to sort of start looking into exactly what it is. Like women in breast cancer, they started seeing, women, white women, for example, get a certain type of gene, breast cancer is prolific. So then they looked more into it, and then they say, hey, oh, there's this gene. Oh my gosh, there's BRCA. Oh wait, we identify this gene. We can test for it now. And so with that said, with regard to Black people, we need that same sort of attention. Hey, these babies are dying. Why are they dying? And let's look into it and figure it out, and make sure, as far as health disparity, make sure that we are studying all peoples of a population and not just one set of people.
Okay, and that's good stuff. I think you've really shed some light there. And what about people that might be aspiring to become CRNAs? Would you be able to share a little bit, like an inspiration or advice that's particularly to the minority, the Black and brown nurse that want to pursue becoming a CRNA?
What I would say to anybody wanting to be a CRNA is that it is something that you have an interest in, just like any job. You got to be interested in it, and then once you get that, you can do it. It's going to be a lot of work. It's challenging training, but you can get it done one day at a time, just like the next person. And then you search for mentors. There's people before you who have been there and who have dealt with what you will be dealing with. You might be the only Black student there, and that may be a whole nother conversation about what it means to be an anesthesia student among, a lot of other students, white students, or whatever the racial mix is. But we've already established that Black students are far and few between. And then when you're in that realm of healthcare, and people's perception of you and what they perhaps think you should be doing or not doing, like maybe, you have those who don't think you're good enough to be a CRNA. You just do your studies, do your clinicals, do your day-to-day just like the next person, and you can be a CRNA.
Just get through it, right? That's nursing school, period. So it sounds to me that it just goes both ways. And even for someone with your background, even in theater and acting, I think the acting probably helps you quite a bit in the nursing profession these days. You have to be good actresses and good actors to deal with the same, right? Well, so we've talked about quite a bit. We've talked about the CRNA portion, and right now with so many things going on with disparities and injustice, you play a really big role in being an advocate. And I know that you are a member of the Wichita Black Nurses Association, and that is definitely a big stage in terms of being advocates for people of color in your community. Tell me a little bit about how you became a member, and maybe a little bit of your experiences with working with the WBNA.
Well, so I started working in Wichita in 2013, graduated in December 2012, and planted here, and I didn't, at first, I must say, I didn't even know there was a Black Nurses Association. So eventually, once I met Maggie, I worked with her. She's also a CRNA. I mentioned her before. She eventually told me, hey, you should join the Wichita Black Nurses Association. And I said, okay. And, but I had an 8-year-old. It's me, and I'm a single mom. And it took me a couple years to actually get settled, having just graduated, of course, buku's a debt. And so it took me about 4 years. And I finally joined. And when I joined, I want to say at that time, the Health Corps Clinic had just, was pretty new. And we were touring it. And all of this plethora of involvement of the Wichita Black Nurses Association was coming through in their contributions since 1973 to this community, and all the nurses and their experiences, and our 90-year-old members who went to nursing school in other states and other places because there was not a school here that would allow Black nurses. I mean, just in the members alone, it was, books upon books of information to be read and had, and also just admiration. I was just so in awe of this that I get to be a part of. And so I joined, and I'm here to stay, and I am excited to learn from those before me and sort of help take up the charge to continue what they started, and what needs to continue.
Right. Well, good. So tell me a little bit about some of the things that WBNA is working, and you guys are doing some amazing things over there. I mean, just spearheading. Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the largest, I won't spill the beans, but one of the largest initiatives with regards to our COVID fight. And I mean, you just are, I mean, you're on the map, and people are really talking about what you guys are doing in little bitty Wichita, Kansas. Mm-hmm. And you're a large part of that. So talk to us a little bit about what you guys are working on right now.
Well, the biggest thing that is definitely keeping us busy is the partnered COVID vaccination clinics that we do with the Sedgwick County Health Department. And that's who we started with. It came out of seeing, again, a disparity, like you mentioned earlier, health disparity in that, in two big ways, that African Americans, Hispanics were having much higher COVID infection and death rates with regard, compared to the white population. And then when vaccination started happening, even though they're the main ones dying, so to speak, not many of us were getting vaccinated. And so we set out to see if we could assist in aiding those numbers. What's the problem? And I'm sure, as you know, I mean, there are lots of reasons people choose to or not to get vaccinated. So we wanted to be a big part of accessibility is a big issue. Everybody couldn't get down to the main place to go get vaccinated. So we wanted to, okay, that's something we can handle. We can handle accessibility. We can attempt to handle too miseducation, get some information together and sort of, again, representation matters, to present to people like this, this is the information. Try to make an informed decision about whether, your very personal decision about whether to get vaccinated. Bring your myths, bring your questions to us, and we can, try to answer the best way we can with the information and the knowledge that we had at the moment as well. Because, it's been an ever-changing cycle of, oh, well, what is this? Or what's that? Or, well, this works, this sort of works, or this doesn't work. Or, oh, no, this one makes you have flights. Okay, now it's okay again. I mean, it's just, COVID came and wreaked havoc on all our lives. And so, yeah, we set out to get these vaccination clinics going, and that was early March, and we haven't looked back. We have assisted in doing over 1,200 vaccinations in the Black and Brown community by partnering with Black churches in the community who stepped up and said, yes, we want to be a part of this accessibility. And that was the idea. I thought, well, hey, let's take it to people's churches. And churches stepped up and said, hey, come here. We'll do it. We'll let you get vaccines here. And it's been amazing. People come and, almost goal achieved,
Right. Well, good. And that's, the fact that, and I know that there are right now even still lots of hesitancy in the Black and Brown community of getting the vaccine. And I don't know if you want to shed a little light there, but I really want to, I'm wondering how you can kind of, what you do on a daily basis of being a CRNA, how has your specialty been able to help you in your efforts right now with the Wichita Black Nurses Association and giving those COVID vaccines to the Black and Brown community?
How has it really helped? I think that your role alone as a well-educated health professional helps a lot. You are the last person they see when they're going to sleep to get their surgeries done, which is a big deal. It can be scary. And then when you're beforehand talking to them about, especially now, have you had COVID? That's the question. You can't even get in the building, or at least, it's getting a little better now, but you couldn't even get in the building at one point without having your temperature taken, these sorts of things. So then the COVID conversation comes up, and then even more so now these days, the conversation comes up as to, are you going to get vaccinated? So even in that arena, people sort of ask your opinion as, have you been vaccinated? And they look to you to share your personal experience. And then just with my knowledge and them looking up to me, I'm able to share what I know about it. And, it's not that everybody is convinced to go out and get a COVID vaccination, but they are able to take in some information, and I think they feel like they get it from at least from a place of knowledge, so to speak.
Right. And I think that you spoke volumes because of the fact that you not only have that credibility, but being in a position of leadership and advocacy, you really can speak because, again, you're dealing with it each and every day. You're used to educating patients. And I think that is just phenomenal. Some of the things that the entire organization is doing, it's amazing because you're acting selflessly, and a lot of the nurses may be retired and still going back out there to do what they need to help the community. It's just, people take for granted sometimes that there are people just like them that are willing to still dedicate themselves to their vocation and also to their calling. Because again, like I said, some people are retired, but ultimately your calling and your passion to help people and advocate for people, it reigns. It's amazing. And I commend you for what you're doing and what you do each and every day. And but I do want to talk a little bit about, not just your kudos with that, but I understand, you're president elect and waiting for the Wichita Black Nurses Association. Tell me what excites you about the future, the direction that you guys are going to, and what can we hope to see from the Wichita Black nurses in the future? Tell us a little bit about that.
I think I am really excited to be president, but I am also very intimidated, mentioning the women that came before me who were meeting in their basement, trying to get things done, when the organization first started and up through the years. And I look to them for that sort of drive and encouragement when life outside of that gets so busy, when you feel like, gosh, can I do this too? And they did. So I have to think, yeah, I can do it, because it's important work that the Wichita Black Nurses Association does, like the COVID vaccinations, bringing to the forefront that, hey, there are Black people who want to get vaccinated, but you may have to do a little harder work getting it to, these communities. And sure enough, we do. And there are some Black people who want to get vaccinated. Who would have thought, so to speak. And other health disparities, which is really a huge part of the mission of the Black Nurses Association, is to identify these disparities and then sort of do what we can to aid in those disparities and make them better in our immediate community. And I think that what I look to bring to the Black Nurses Association is, number one, to increase our exposure. Like I said, when I got here, I didn't even know there was a Black Nurses Association, and they have been on the ground for a long time, doing a lot of things in this community, and people don't know about it. So forums like this, like we gotta talk about it so that people know about it, so that people, even, if you want to donate to us, you donate to us, so that we can continue to do these things. And so being a part of that, and just really continuing to honor what they started, and do that diligently, and get more members, younger people also interested, who may not have known that we exist here.
Right. And I mean, it's just, understand that you guys provide scholarships, and the membership is just amazing, because you have this just true support of nurses. Again, like you said, that they've been doing this since 1973. I mean, every nursing student, I don't care who they are, at some point in their life, they're freaking out. There's so much you gotta learn and know, and you just think the world is against you, and select all that apply and all of that other stuff that just makes you want to strangle someone. That's the biggest piece. That's a big thing, to know that you're supported by people that have been there, done that, that are advocates for you, especially as a minority. It's just, I can't say enough things about it. And I think that, again, the leadership piece, and knowing that you have people like yourself that's willing to help and willing to donate their time and energy and efforts. I mean, I know you guys are going to continue to do some amazing things. And that community baby shower, how do they find out about community baby showers, and find out about the vaccinations and things like that? How would someone find out about Wichita Black Nurses Association in general as well?
Well, we have a new website. And it's new, so it's coming along, and you'll be able to go there. It's WichitaBlackNurses.org, and you can go there and check out our website, and pass along that information that we are here and we are involved. And to all the Black nurses who want to be involved in the organization, come and help and be involved and contribute to the community and what we're doing.
That's great.
We're on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. We're on Instagram. Come check it out and say hi.
That's awesome. And we'll definitely make sure that we post the links right here below, so that way you guys can see that and look up Wichita Black Nurses Association and find out all kinds of stuff. I've been on that site, and I mean, you guys have all kinds of things on there. You connected even to the health department, which your sponsorship was, working with them was just amazing. Your partnership there, and a couple other places that's really exciting for you. So tell me, just, I guess lastly, we're gonna wrap it up. Just, do you have, like, what life lesson I mean, just being a minority nurse and a community leader, what has inspired you the most? And then how do you encourage others to become advocates? Because ultimately that does take a special person. What inspired you to be here?
Oh boy. I think that I think what drives me the most, Tanika, is that if I get sick, I want to be the person who's going to take good care of me. And what that means to me is that I want to stay on top of the needs and ignored needs, or these health disparities and things, because I am Black, and I want people to make sure that they know that we're here and we need the same care and attention. And I think that drives me to stay involved and keep learning what those issues are and what those problems are, to sort of pursue them, and if not to help me, then the people that come after me.
And I mean, that's a big piece in the Wichita Black Nurses Association as well. And I was reading that you guys are the, care and advocacy and service. And that is just, you can tell it just oozes all over you when you talk about just what you do and helping people. And that's great stuff, because you're right. You want to be able to look over and know that you're going to get the best possible care, regardless of race. That there shouldn't be any disparity. So I know that on behalf of myself and the rest of the world, I just want to say thank you for what you do. Thank you for just being an inspiration to all of us. I know that, we'll have hundreds and thousands of viewers, and I will say that we've been blessed and touched by having you just chat with us. You can, again, we're going to put at the bottom here how to get in touch with Wichita Black Nurses Association and Kim Henderson. And, it was a true joy. We've really enjoyed you here. And again, that Wichita Black Nurses Association, can everyone figure out and find out? Again, now, if you're in Florida, then again, and I'm in Florida, so I can say that it doesn't really matter where you are, you can still become a member of the Wichita Black Nurses Association if you have a nursing license. Is that correct, Kim? Okay, so you can still be,
that is correct.
Associated. Okay. Go ahead.
As a matter of fact, we had a volunteer with the 𝐠EDGWAR County Health Department, travel nurse, who was so impressed with what we were doing that she was like, I'm going to join the Wichita Black Nurses Association and, do what I can while I'm here. And I said, come on, girl, we welcome you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so I'm excited for you and for everybody, the Wichita Black Nurses Association. And I can tell you, just a great, great group. Incredibly humble, and definitely the people I want advocating for me. So thanks for your time, Kim. We appreciate it. And we look forward to hearing more things about you. Set the world on fire, young lady. And and we'll look forward to be around to cheer you on and advocate for you. Okay. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.